Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking the fascinating mechanics of nostalgia and memory based on the insights from our source material. If you've ever found yourself totally lost, daydreaming about the good old days, well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with a universal question that really hits at the emotional core of the human experience. Have you ever noticed this weird glitch in how we look backward? The past almost always feels softer, warmer, and just somehow more beautiful than the exact moment we're living in right now.
Which brings us to part one, why yesterday feels better and the softening of the past.
We tend to romanticize basically everything, right? I mean, old songs hit us completely differently. Childhood memories feel like pure magic. But here's where it gets kind of wild. Sometimes you even miss versions of your life that you once desperately wanted to escape. You might miss old routines, past versions of yourself, or, crazy enough, old friends and people who actually hurt you. Over time, even really painful memories somehow get this beautiful, glossy finish. Time fundamentally changes how we feel. But why does it do that?
To figure that out, we really need to pivot to section 2, how your memory actually works, specifically reconstruction versus recording. Because the reality of our minds is actually pretty wild. Your brain doesn't store perfect reality. It stores interpretations, emotions, little fragments, and highlight reels. We have this tendency to think of our memories as a perfect recording, right? Like some objective reality we can just hit play on. But that literally could not be further from the truth. Memory is reconstruction. It's this incredibly active process of rebuilding the past, where pain gets heavily filtered out and specific emotions get super amplified. Okay, so every single time you recall a memory, this 3-step reconstruction process kicks into gear. Step 1, your brain literally has to rebuild the memory from scratch. During that rebuild, which is step 2, small annoying details just kind of fade away, and any sharp emotional pain starts to soften up. And finally, step 3, over time, the bad parts blur out entirely while the good parts stay incredibly vivid. Honestly, the structural editing process is exactly why the past often feels way better than it actually was when you were living it. And this right here is exactly why people long for childhood. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, or maybe you've thought it yourself, man, I really miss being a kid. We completely focus on the warmth and the simplicity of it all. In our reconstructed, edited memory, childhood is just this magical era of ultimate freedom. No bills, no responsibilities, zero pressure. But hold on, think about the actual reality of childhood for a second. You cried. You felt terrified of things. You got physically hurt, and, you probably felt profoundly lonely sometimes too. But your adult brain? It just actively scrubs those painful details right out to create nostalgia. It drops the pain entirely and just holds on to that sweet, emotional essence of freedom. Now that we know how memory actively filters our past, let's peel back another layer. Section 3, the true meaning of nostalgia and why we seek out emotional anchors. I absolutely love how the source text frames this concept. It beautifully defines nostalgia as grief wrapped in warmth. Nostalgia is so incredibly powerful because it's part comfort, part sadness, and part longing. It feels beautiful, sure, but it's also undeniably painful. And why is that? Because it reminds you of a time, a place, a person, or maybe an entire version of life that is simply gone. It just doesn't exist anymore. So you're not just feeling a memory, you are feeling genuine grief, but it's packaged up in this warm, comforting blanket. And here is the crucial point. Modern life moves incredibly fast, right? Like weeks disappear in an absolute flash. Months blur together, people change, the cities we live in completely change. Technology is constantly shifting under our feet. Because of all that overwhelming movement, your brain gets desperate for something stable. It needs emotional anchors. Nostalgia provides this bridge to meaning. It's basically whispering to you, hey, you existed here. That moment was real. Now, what's genuinely fascinating here is the realization that we often romanticize periods in our lives when we were actually deeply unhappy. You might miss a toxic relationship or a city where you felt completely stuck. Why on earth would we do that? Well, according to our sources, we aren't actually missing the experience itself. We're missing our old identity, who we were. We miss the hope we had back then, the possibilities that existed, and most importantly, we miss the absolute certainty of how life felt. Which naturally brings us to section 4, why we escape backward, fleeing uncertainty. Just look at the stark contrast here.
We actively choose to flee into the past because certainty feels incredibly comforting, while the present is just filled with stressful uncertainty. Think about today. It contains stress, bills, pressure, and this entirely unknown future. And the human brain literally hates uncertainty. But the past is complete. It's totally finished. It's a known quantity, and it absolutely cannot surprise you anymore.
Escaping into that comforting certainty is also incredibly easy because human memory is highly sensory. I mean, a single old song from 5 years ago can instantly trigger this escape. It can bring back the exact mindset and feelings of an entire era of your life in a matter of seconds. A specific smell, walking into a certain room, or just seeing an old friend can instantly transport you backward. It fully immerses you in the people, the sights, and the exact feelings of that finished chapter.
But, and this is a big but, the source text warns us that comparing everything to the past is actually pretty dangerous. It can completely strip the value away from your current life. It's obviously incredible that our brains can transport us like this, but nostalgia can very easily turn into a toxic form of escape. If you're living in memory more than reality, constantly replaying old moments and comparing everything new to this idealized, edited past, well, the present is slowly but surely going to lose all its value. We humans notoriously struggle to appreciate the ordinary nature of the present. When something is readily available, our brain just adapts to it, we normalize it, and we totally underestimate it. Meaning often only becomes visible after something is already gone, which leads to this universal, genuinely heartbreaking realization: I didn't realize how good it was. It's so true, isn't it? Only absence seems to reveal true importance. So, how do we fix this? Let's move to our final section, finding magic in the present and how impermanence creates value. As we reach the philosophical core of this explainer, we really need to ask how to shift our perspective from this passive longing to active appreciation. Time makes memories beautiful precisely because impermanence gives things emotional weight. Think about it. A sunset is only beautiful because it eventually fades. A song matters because it ends. Childhood feels so incredibly precious because you literally cannot go back. The source text suggests that life works the exact same way. Moments feel beautiful specifically because they do not last forever. And the deeper truth here is that reality doesn't filter out the pain like memory does. Someday, you might actually miss the messy, stressful present that you are living inside right this very minute. The present feels messy because you're actively in the trenches, navigating all the uncertainty. But one day, today is going to become a memory too. Just really think about that for a second. Someday, you may deeply, genuinely miss this exact phase of your life, even the parts of it you think you completely hate right now. So what if the beauty you keep searching for in the past actually still exists in the present? What if life didn't lose its magic at all, but rather, memory just teaches us appreciation way too late? The past isn't always better. It's just so much easier to idealize because it's over. What if you simply stopped noticing the magic around you just because it became your new normal? I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The next time a wave of nostalgia hits you, pause. Feel it. Honor it, for sure. But then ask yourself if the magic you miss is actually still here, just waiting for you to pay attention to it. Are you truly missing the past, or are you just missing the ability to feel entirely present in the moment you have right now? The magic isn't gone, guys. It's right in front of you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.